I'm at the 2015 Los Angeles Auto Show where it looks like Mazda may have gotten in bed with an Italian stallion. The end result could very well be called the Fiata. Let's take a first look at this 2017 Fiat 124 Spyder. Now, all jokingness aside, the return of the 124 name here in the US is a pretty important one. The original 124 Spyder, when it was introduced back in 1967, was one of the best-selling Fiat models here in the US, where the company sold over 175,000 of those up until about 1985. Now, for this new 124 Spyder, Fiat went to Mazda for help for the platform. This is essentially the all-new ND fourth generation Miata, but you can see the design of the car is very Fiat. I mean, Fiat pretty much spent all the money on making sure this car looked like an Italian car, and it really shows. The headlights of the vehicle have that traditional look of the original 124 Spyder with the circular LED running light, the fog light interlay, and then the updated grille design. Now, the vehicle itself is about 5 inches longer than the current ND Miata, and you can really see that difference in the front and rear overhangs, especially in the rear. Now, one element that you're going to really notice are the even broader fender flares in this vehicle. It gives the 124 a little bit more of an aggressive stance. It makes the car look a little bit more substantial, as it is a little bit of a bigger vehicle. Now, with added size, you do get a little bit more weight. This car weighs about 100 pounds more than the current generation ND Miata. Now, to mitigate that lard, Fiat did replace the engine. Now, those of you who have been complaining that there is no turbo in the ND Miata, this is essentially your ride. Under the hood, you're going to find a standard 1.4-liter turbocharged engine from the Fiat 500 Abarth. It makes 160 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. Now, you can pair that with either a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic, and of course this convertible is rear drive. Now, if you look at the rear of the vehicle, it also has its own unique design. Compared to the ND Miata, you're going to see dual exhaust underneath the bumper as opposed to the single exhaust with the dual tips, and the redesigned trunk lid does give you a little bit more space, where Fiat says the 124 Spyder has about 0.5 cubic feet more cargo space in the trunk. Now, for the interior, those of you who are familiar with the current ND Miata will pretty much find a Mazda interior. It almost looks like Fiat ran out of money and spent all of it on changing the exterior and didn't leave enough to add a little bit more Fiat design touches in here. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, as Mazda has been doing really excellent cabins nowadays. You can see the steering wheel, the entire dashboard pretty much is pulled right out of the current generation MX-5 Miata, save for the Fiat badge in the middle of the steering wheel. Now, a couple of things that I am noticing that Fiat changed: the body-colored upper door panels on the Miata are replaced with a soft touch panel here. The dashboard itself on the upper dash is actually soft touch as opposed to the hard touch in the Miata. But overall, you have the same Mazda 7-inch Connect display screen, which they call Fiat Connect in this vehicle. It is a touchscreen, and you can use the controller down here. Now, the transmission choices are a 6-speed automatic or a 6-speed manual. This particular one that I'm sitting in is actually the upper trim. It's called Lusso. You can also go for a base trim called Classico, where Fiat offers a 6-speed manual or an automatic. The Lusso trim is only available at launch with an automatic as of right now. Now, overall, the interior itself feels pretty much like the ND Miata. Those of you who may be wondering, I do feel a little bit more room in here. Of course, the hood is different from the Miata, so you have a slightly different view out of the road. Now, one thing that Fiat did do for this vehicle is they did change the suspension tuning. They tuned this car to have a little bit less body roll and to be a little bit softer. And they also added an acoustically sounded windshield to try to reduce the interior noise. Now, one thing that did carry over from the Miata that you all probably love is the manual operated soft top, where all you have to do is pull this lever here and pull the actual top up. It's a one-handed operation, and it can be done in seconds. So that's a good thing that Fiat did bring into this car. And overall, I think that they really did do a good job with giving this that Italian flair that they were looking for, but we'll really have to get out on the road and see what it's like to drive. I'm really curious about the 1.4-liter turbo engine, as you probably are, but expect this new 124 Spyder to hit showrooms in the summer of next year, with pricing not yet announced, but expect it to be roughly in the same line as the Miata. I expect it to be a little bit more, but this class of vehicle is certainly a small one, and Fiat is taking a gamble with entering a small convertible roadster segment. For Redline Reviews at the 2015 LA Auto Show, I'm Sophion Bay.